Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Ron.
And we have our family with us. You know, he's family at this point. Welcome back.
Glad to be back. Hassan from Philly.
All right. And today we are talking about the season finale of The Chi. This one was titled I Am the Blues. And it was so much going on this episode. Definitely set us up for a good season 6. So I'm excited to talk about this one. If you guys hang tight, we'll be right back to get started. All right, everyone, we are back. And like I said, we are talking The Chi. This is season 5, episode 10. And I don't know, man. Otis is shaking things up.
Yeah.
He definitely started off the episode putting a lot of pressure on Vic. And it's not looking good. So we know last episode he shot Q. But it looked like Q was still alive this episode.
That's what I said last week, remember?
You said that, but barely. He was gasping.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, if you had left him like that and the police found him, that might have been a different story. But, you know, the whole point that he took that car ride wherever, my point is, when you hit somebody 2 times in the chest, if you really want him dead, you got to put it in the
head. He was going to finish him anyway.
If you really want him dead, put it in the head. I just want to I heard that.
Okay.
Well, he didn't have a choice. He couldn't leave somebody like that alive.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's what
I knew he was going to be dead anyway.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting out of that. That's what I meant. He was not, there was no way he was getting out of that.
But you know, it's funny. It's funny though, because you know, anything can happen. You take that ride, police officer stop you for whatever reason. They want to check your ride. You know, my whole point is, you know, because he could have framed it to make it look like somebody broke in there and did whatever they did. I mean, you know, I'm sure Q had more enemies than friends. So my whole thing is, if I'm gonna go that far, I'm gonna leave you right there where you're standing, and I'm gonna make sure you ain't talking, because anything can happen when you put a body in a car.
I think he wanted to intimidate Vic. Right?
Yes.
He went and got him.
Right.
He heard the thumping in the background. He looked at him. He gave him that look like. So then he went back, made sure he came back with him, and then he finished him.
Well, he also wanted to implicate Vic, because see now
that's what he's saying.
Yeah, he's in the car now. He took that ride, so Vic's got to keep his mouth shut.
Right. He said he had to find somebody that had something to lose.
Right. But see, that's the thing though, because Vic talked, you know, with Marcus about releasing this video that they have of Otis beating him down, and so it's like Trig did that because Tracy, he could tell that Tracy was going to be in danger if she continued to surround herself with Otis, but she's not getting the big picture. Like, I don't think she realized the depth and the gravity of what Otis has been doing. And so she was like, you know, everybody has secrets, and I'm like,
he's so open,
laying it down.
That's the thing. He must be, because I was just like, and I don't want to get too far ahead of you, but she was tripping me out when they were at yoga and she was asking about the +1 for the wedding. I'm like, so you trying to take this married man so as your +1 to a wedding, and not only is he a married man, this man got a body in the trunk. Like, you know, he's dangerous. I mean, first of all, she can't say she didn't know, because he was talking openly about getting rid of Q.
Right.
Yes, Tracy bothered me so much this episode because it's like she was asking obvious questions. Like, you know the answer to this question.
Her nose is so wide open you can drive a Mack truck through it. And
that's what I was going to say. It's when you are really open about somebody, you don't really want to know the answers to those questions. It's certain things, and that's what I'm saying. Go back to Ron's boy Ghost, because it was the same. It was the same thing. Like when Angela found out that he was Ghost, she didn't really want to know. And when she was asking him the question, he was like, don't ask a question you don't want to know the answer to.
Exactly.
How about don't ask the questions you already know the answer to?
Exactly. She knew.
You know,
you just
don't want it to come out of their mouth, but you already know what time it is. So you know that whole playful thing about, well, I don't tell me, you know, you already
knew who she's dealing with.
And-
I mean,
and
I
she
said
probably
he was openly talking about getting rid of her son's father. You know, and then
you
was
had
like, your son is gone.
Yeah. And Hassan, you had something to add?
and she probably feels guilty too, knowing that she's responsible for someone's death too. So I think that's when I think she was talking about the secrets, right? So she knows she still is responsible for that. She like, so you judging him, you don't even know what I'm responsible for. I'm responsible for death too as well, you know?
What got me is she when you know, when he came up to the house, you know, Douda came to the house and she opens the door, and the first thing she wants is an apology of what he said to her son. My thing is, girl, look, you should have played like you were out somewhere, you know, with family. Don't open that door to that man. I mean, it's opening the door to the devil, and you just won't let it go. You won't let that devil go no matter what. And unfortunately, I can't wait for the next season, because I really want to know how long she lasts.
Right. Because I want to bring this back to Victor, though, because he released the video so that he could get Tracy to see what kind of person Otis really is. And I think that he should have kept that video, because that could have been something that he could have used to protect him, just in case, you know, Otis pulls that, oh, well, you got rid of a body for me. So now he doesn't have any, like, leverage. You know, he doesn't have any leverage to use against Otis if he tries to throw the fact that he got rid of Q's body in his face.
And another thing, what's his name?
Marcus.
Marcus never complained. So if you don't complain, there's no case. So even though you put out the video, what is the police going to do? You never went to the police to make a formal complaint. So is he now going to go and make a formal complaint? Because they were thinking that releasing the video would stop.
Well, remember, they kind of got rid of the police in favor of that community policing. And so I think it was more so to sway public opinion, you know, so that he could not be moving politically like he's been trying to do a lot. We seen him trying to maneuver a lot this episode, you know, when he went to Emmett and he was propositioning him to franchise Smokies.
Yeah, and now look what he's done. He's now gone even deeper underground. And see, that's the problem with somebody like Douda, because he don't give a rat's about what you think about him. He now went completely underground. And what
he did. Yeah. Like, he chose the life over love. Because I think he does love Tracy, but he was just like, listen, I'm sorry, I can't be the man you need me to be.
But y'all gotta understand, it's something about the chocolate. You know, it's hard for the ladies to let the chocolate go. And I think so they want old school too, right? But that's how the mob used to tie people in. The all the organized crime used to tie the businesses in and wash their money, right? And I think that's what he's trying to do with Emmett, because he said, "Oh, I got a lot of money," you know, and he knows Emmett is young, he's enthused by the money, and perfect timing. He needs the money.
It's still a bad move, because it's a bad kind of person Otis is, and he knows what happened. You're dealing with people in that world. It's like you got to expect that there's going to be some baggage with it. And so when he asked, I think he asked Otis, he was like, you know, what exactly does this mean? Like, what's But
so, I mean, you and then, you know, my thing is with Otis. He really wants to set things up, make it look like everything's on up and up, and he's going to move Emmett straight out, one way or the other.
Of course.
So Emmett, and I think he knew that. I think he inherently knows that. I just think that, I don't know if it was the money that got him.
It is the money. It is the money. He wanted the franchise. He told Tiff, he was like, I want a franchise. He knows, you know, doing it his way, it would take a little longer. And here he sees a quick and easy way. The thing is, he and Brandon were tight.
Right. And he's seen what happened with him. He
saw that, you know, like Kiesha said, Brandon's mom came up there ready to shoot Douda. I mean, she wanted to kill Douda. You know, because
his reputation is really not that great, and so you got to know that any kind of deal is going to come with some baggage, and it's probably going to be negative baggage,
and more baggage than he can care to, you know,
handle. Get hurt. Brandon is dead.
Yeah.
And he knows
so I hope he's going to look past the temporary gain and look more long term at what it's going to do to his business.
Well, the problem is he's already accepted some money, bought, you know, and what did he buy that? He bought
the painting. I told y'all he was going to get that painting. I told y'all he was going to get it.
So now he's in, you know.
But that doesn't necessarily mean he's accepted money from Otis yet. He just said there's going to be some money coming in the future.
Right.
You know, I think he's strongly considering the deal, which is why he feels like he can splurge, I guess, on this painting, because he feels like, you know, there's going to be more where that came from eventually.
I hope that's the case, and I hope he gets some sense before all that happens. But see, the only problem with Douda is he got his sights on that place now, so I don't know which way Emmett really can move.
But it could work in his favor, right? Now that this video is out, what if he invests this money and then really have to go away? So Emmett could really come up, you know, whereas Douda's not around, you know, and now Emmett has the money to franchise and he becomes prosperous because he's really not around no more. So,
but that was
my point. Otis said he's not going away this time.
Right. And that's also my point. And that's my point in the very beginning. If Brother Man did not press charges, and now that you see that video is out, I don't know how they thought that video is going to, you know, implicate him in such a way that he's going to get arrested, because no charges were placed. So somebody's got to bring up some charges.
There's some states that will move forward without you, though.
That's true too.
Without a charge.
And he was a public figure.
If it were a body, but that public figure never made any charges. He never made any complaints. I don't know. I'm not going to argue it or try to justify in any way. I don't know if any state necessarily can automatically bring up charges, even though there aren't any basis for it. In other words, the person who was afflicted doesn't come forward and say, hey, this is what happened, and I want to place charges on this person. It's like a fight. If you and I get in a fight and the police show up and nobody says
that he was beat almost half to death, though.
That's why.
I mean, it was self-defense. Dude did hit Douda first.
He did.
He did hit him first.
He did.
But Douda beat him almost half to death.
Well, you know that. You never know.
That's a reaction, though. That's a reaction.
I'm going to say, you don't know what's coming back at you when you hit somebody first.
Exactly.
Right. That's true. That's true. And Douda was still recovering from being shot.
Absolutely. So his state of mind could have been like, I thought I was going to lose my life, so I darn near took his life. But I think it's going to be leverage, actually, because even with that being said, I think that's more grounds for Victor to win. Now that this is out there, I think this is going to give him leverage. You know, this is why Victor asked him to be his running mate, to be a part of his team. And Victor comes out and says, yeah, this is the person that's going to be with me. And look what happened to him. I think that's going to put him in the forefront politically.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that could work out. You know, I'm thinking too, also, somebody else who's gotten tied up with Otis now, Bakari. I'm worried about him now.
Yeah.
I love Bakari.
Especially the way he rolled up on Nuck, you know, protecting Jake. I love the way he looked out. You know, he really paid back a little bit of, you know, the damage that he's done, because Jake really could have been out of there at that point.
He's like, I took life from you, but I also saved your life.
Yeah.
Right.
That's going to build their bond back up as well.
But yeah, that also showed Nuck though, because, you know, Bakari got a mouth on him. Yeah. And Nuck seemed to have realized that, like, you know, he got it in him. I already know he a killer. I wouldn't put it past him to put it
I think he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
That's why Nuck slowed his role, because Nuck saying he a killer just like me. So
so I want him on my team. I don't want to be against him.
Right. Put him on your team, like you said. And so that's exactly what Otis did.
Right.
But having Bakari be his eyes and ears, I don't know if that's a good thing. You know, Bakari already is kind of unstable in terms of his living situation, in terms of financial things. So, you know, as soon as he got that money from Otis, he did what a young person with money would do, go and flash it. But that draws unwanted attention. So I'm just like, I don't know, Bakari. I really hope that he doesn't become a target next season being wrapped up with Otis and his mess, you know.
I think so. I think that he's going to be at a crossroads because first off, he's now in it with Douda and Nook, but he has Lene, the powerful woman, and she said, I don't mess with no criminals.
Right.
So, that's gonna be one thing. He has a relationship with Rashad. So Rashad, that's another influence. It takes a village. So he has to worry about that. He's staying with Papa and Papa's dad, and they might be like, well, where are you getting this money? And you can't stay here.
Right.
Whatever you doing. So I think either way, like he's at a cross, so he could go either way. So the lure of the streets have him right now, but he has enough people in his corner that can possibly pull him back.
But it could also go the other way too, where he goes to Otis and say like, I got put out, I don't have anywhere to stay. Otis gives him somewhere to stay. So now the fact that Otis has given you so much, you put yourself in his hand. Like he can do and manipulate however he wants because he's basically providing your lifestyle and your shelter, your home, your clothing, all that. So when you give people that power over you, you give them the power to manipulate as well. So, while he does have a lot of positive influences, Otis really has a strong draw, the money. Yeah. I mean, that can pull him all the way to the wrong side as well.
And I was kind of hoping to see him run, and try to talk to Lene, but after he made that comment about her brother and she split, he just had that look on his face like, oh, well. And I'm hoping.
I think he knew he stuck his foot in his mouth.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that that's not the last time he sees her, But like you said, Tiara, my concern is the power that Douda has, because Douda can set him up, can give him everything he thinks he wants, and then it becomes an obligation.
Yeah.
Once that sets in, we know sometimes when you're young and dumb, you take that obligation more seriously than you do your friends and family.
Yeah.
That I think is what really that's going to be interesting to see how they play that out.
But he did show he is young and dumb, right? One thing he did show, he's loyal, right? Even
that's the whole point.
To Coogie, right? So just think about it from this perspective. I think his loyalty will be more so to with Jake and his crew over Douda. Like he might be the one that take Douda out. He might be the one. Listen, he might be the one because he get close.
Say the same thing. I said he the wild card. I said he would be the one to take Douda out. You and I on the same page on that one.
Absolutely. He got to take out more than Douda though, because he take out Douda, he got to take out Nook. He's got. I mean.
I think it would be a problem. He already showed he would be willing to take Nook out.
Yeah. The whole thing is staying in great grace with them, right?
Yep.
Where Vic can be like, all right, I need you to do this, and he might be the one where he get close enough to do that. Because now he's going to be to the point he's going to be standoff. He's the puppet master, but he's only going to let certain people around him. So if he can Bakari can get close to him, he could be the one to take him out, like Douda did to his old head. He was close enough.
He was close.
Young blood. You were supposed to pick me up, but you're a little bit early. Yeah, but time's up. So
he comes back around.
He comes back around. So I think
it does. I'm thinking, and it could be wrong, you could be right, Hassan, but I'm thinking that Douda has more street sense. In other words, he knows to keep a certain distance. Now, it will be interesting to see in episodes, in the new episodes, just how close Douda allows this young boy to get close to him, because he's got to understand that, what you do comes back at you 10 times. So
listen, he might be like Kanan, like how he was really proud of Tariq. Like he taught Tariq all those things, and Tariq got close, and Tariq was the one that did him in. Same thing with Douda. Douda always wanted a son. That was one of the reasons why he was trying to keep Jake. So he looked like he was impressed when Bakari said, "I ain't no snitch." So as time goes and he sees Bakari work and he gets close enough for him to think he's like a son.
Yep, he could try to build
Bakari got it in him that he could possibly get Douda up out of there.
But that's not a bad prediction. I like that. I think that's something
I was thinking the same thing, Haas.
It's reaping what you sowed.
Yes.
Naturally.
Right.
You don't think about it.
If there's not a season 6,
there is.
It gotta be.
I'm sorry. It's not a season 7. if there's not a season 7, that would make perfect sense to end season.
Right.
Because they teach every dog has expiration date, right?
Right.
And he could be coming to the end, because what he's doing, they got to get him out here, because I think it's going to be a problem once he finds out that Victor chose his love.
I wanted to go there because I was like, so what? How do
but
we?
You know what? Just before you go there, Vic can also now don't take Vic out of the picture either, because Vic is time enough, and he's tired of Douda already.
Yeah, he's running for office, so he can't get his hands dirty.
Well, I mean, we all got peoples.
Right.
Bakari.
We all got peoples.
Yeah, so. Bakari. That's what I said. Bakari gonna be the one.
Mm-hmm. But the thing with Vic, because he made a bold move by coming out and stating his truth and telling the public, that him and Tiara's relationship was a sham, and basically professing his love for Fatima. He went against that NDA and all that stuff he had arranged with Otis, and so I'm pretty sure Otis has a lot on his plate right now, but he's going to address that with Trig at some point. And I'm worried for Trig because he's taking a stand for himself, and he's not just going with the program that Otis wants him to go with. So I'm definitely worried for Trig.
But fans, I saw some of what fans said about Fatima, and a lot of them kind of agree with what I was saying about her. She knew what Vic was about. She knew what Vic was trying to do. And then, while that bid scene, she tries to, pressure him to do what he wasn't ready to do. Now, the whole thing is, when he came out like he did, while everybody clapped and was happy about what he said and yada yada, sounds great. As well as I do, reporters, man, they can be some they can come at you with things like, oh, so your whole campaign was a lie. And then you have to defend that. And then, and if they really just want to, put your name out there and muddy it up, that's what they'll run all day, in spite of what you might say. He came out and said the right thing. I mean, I love the writers and what they put in his mouth. He wanted to do the right thing. He wanted truth in his life. But a good reporter would come out and say, you started this campaign in a lie.
Yeah.
Why should we believe you now?
Well, do we think Fatima is actually going to stay in town? Because initially she said she had no reason to stay anymore. She was
now that he professes love, she probably will.
Exactly. Well, and that was a whole setup for Fatima. She was, again, putting that little pressure on him. You know how
was that a little manipulation there?
Yes, we men are very weak to y'all. So anytime y'all say, well, I may have to leave.
But I think it was real too, though, because
it's real. No. Don't get me wrong. I think that she would have bounced. I think if he kept his status, she would have bounced. But the whole point is, Fatima knows what she's doing. She's perfect. I mean, this chick knows exactly what she's doing, and she manipulated Vic. Look, Vic was
first off, you
really putting
it out on the table that, listen, I'm not gonna be a secret and be hiding in the dark waiting for you to come around and choose me. Being manipulative, she made her intentions plain. Like, listen, we're not gonna be I'm sneaking around. Look, Little Murder, Uncle Clifford, they did the same thing. They did the same thing. And what did Little Murder do? He stepped up, right?
But I'm saying, because she had given him a little time. In other words, let the campaign go through, let him win or lose, and then decide what he's going to do. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
But he still would have been running on a lie. So I think it's better that he came clean anyway. Even if he didn't end up with Fatima.
Exactly.
I'm glad that he spoke up about not being with Tiara. And speaking of Tiara, I don't think that we've seen the last of Tiara. I think Tiara gonna end up pregnant. Now that Rashad has made up with his boo and moved in with her, next season she gonna pop up with a baby.
I was waiting for Shad to step up and say something, but he was getting ready to.
He tried
until she said all that stuff and everything. And he was like, okay, I can't, I gotta take this to the grave, because he didn't even tell Vic either. So but he ain't gonna have to. He gonna have to do some explaining next season, because
I definitely think you're right.
Show up. She gonna show up with a baby.
Because if you notice, before the episode started, they were showing the recap, and they showed that portion where Tierra was talking to Trig about wanting a kid, and I'm like, why do they keep showing this?
Yes,
I think you're right
too. I was like, this is foreshadowing. She's gonna show up with a kid.
Nikki said the same thing, and I'm thinking, okay, I mean, yeah, she will do anything, she said, to to keep herself out in front. Woo, that's gonna be.
Remember, I said to y'all guys, to y'all that I feel like she was planted. It was perfect timing for Victor to lose his woman. Remember, I said that he lost her. Right now, someone came along. Who is she reporting to? She's a reporter for what? Right.
So you're talking about Fatima?
Fatima. Yeah. And listen, she texts a lot. That ain't no another person.
You know what? I had thought about that for a minute too. I was wondering. I was like,
I'm telling y'all, it's something with that.
Douda knew he was with Amani and stuff, so he knows
something with that
status. And I had wondered too, was he involved in some type of way of her popping up?
Strategic placement.
Yeah,
it's this weird the timing, right? That you lose her, and then someone just like her come along, and then steal his heart, right? I said he had a type, but at the end of the day, I think it's something else is going to come for that. Either somebody else is going to come back from his past, or she was planted there for a reason.
That would make Douda one very dangerous brother. He had a plan A and a plan B.
Awesome. He's dangerous.
That would make him a super dangerous brother, because he had a plan A and a plan B. If plan A fails, I got plan B right here. So that would make him.
Don't ever underestimate this young man.
And just wait until Roz come back in the picture and find out her little side piece been getting around.
Right.
I don't know how that's gonna play out, and I still want to see how things are gonna play out with Otis and Roz too, because she hasn't been very present in a lot of the episodes this season. So I still wonder what's going on with them and their. I think they're still married, their marriage or whatever.
Yeah, they're still married.
Yeah, I think they're just
not going nowhere because she has a plan. Remember the vision she showed? She's going to make sure that comes to life. She planted those seeds for a reason.
Yeah, and while we're still on the Otis train, we also learned that Q's nephew was Rob, which that was something.
That is something.
That my mouth dropped when I heard that.
Is it real nephew, or is it like
no? That's a nephew. Remember, he said that he didn't really fool with his family like that, and Nuck reiterated that. And so,
he said it was a business relationship strictly.
Right. And so even though he does, sells the weed and stuff, I don't think that he was into the killing and all that stuff. But it makes me wonder though, if he find out, he knows now that Q has been killed. If he finds out who's behind it, will he try to get revenge?
I don't think he's the type to get revenge because of how, that Zen vibe he's on.
Yeah.
But I do wonder how he's going to deal with Otis now, because Otis and Q, they have some similar qualities, and Q wasn't necessarily the easiest person to deal with. But Otis is like a snake. Like, he's very sly and he'll tell you all the right things, but then he'll stab you in the back and bite you or something, something like that. So that's why I'm like, Rob seems like he's too mellowed out to ignore any of the red flags that Otis might present.
And what do you think do you think Otis might even try to take Rob out so he can have that?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think he's a threat. He knows he's not.
He doesn't think he's a threat, especially when Nuck told him that they didn't even associate with each other. And I think he wants that stream of income. He said, that sounds like a good business. So as long as Rob plays his role and keeps bringing that money in, Douda ain't gonna care.
Yeah,
my biggest thought is the way he asked who killed him.
Well, you want to know.
That's why I said, well, Rob wants.
No. I mean, my point is, if I got a distant cousin or whatever, and he's my supplier or whatever's going on, and I don't know much about him, I'm not going to necessarily ask that question. But for you to ask the question, and to me, in the manner in which he asked the question, makes me believe he might have some feelings, or he may want some revenge. I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, any family member. If he showed the picture, he showed him that it was clear that he ain't died of natural causes. Correct. So you showed me a family member who's been killed. Did they catch him? Do we know who did it? Exactly.
And that's reason.
So I think that was it.
He may not try to kill him, but he could possibly try to, get him you know, in some kind of way.
Yeah, I think it's more so him wanting to know just to make sure he doesn't let the enemy closer. If the person that did take his uncle out gets close to him, could he take me out too? So I think it was more so them trying to find out who did it so he doesn't become close to this partner.
But remember, Douda said he wants part of that business. He wants to get into that weed business. So
very lucrative business.
I don't know how they won't get, you know, he's going to do business with him. The question is, will he ever find out? And if he found out, what will he do? Would he do? Now, in my opinion, the way he treats Tiffany, my girl's namesake up here, the way he treats Tiffany, he might not do anything. He, like you said, he's just one of those Zen folk, you know.
Yeah, I think he might just be in on the weed business, and he might not be no killer for real and all that stuff. You know,
I just see no violence about him.
I can't see him killing.
I didn't sense any violence or anything about him.
But you know what they say about them quiet folks.
Amen.
Yeah. But think about how they're shaping this up though, because you have Emmett and Rob who have just kind of made up, you know, they're co-parenting. They have a son that they're sharing in common, you know, amongst households. And but also now they have Otis in common. So if somewhere down the line, Otis starts doing business dirty with them, I think that they can team up against him as well. You know, since they're both going to be in business with him, and I don't know how aware Rob is of Otis's shady past, but I'm assuming he's heard, you know, he
probably knew about his own uncle's shady past.
Right.
Which is why
everybody knows.
Yeah, so I would assume he knows about Otis as well, because he's not low key.
Otis, which one? Whoever said it? I forget which one of you said Otis is a snake.
Absolutely.
Okay, he's a slithering snake. Right. You can't put anything beyond him. And from what I've gathered so far, he plays chess very well. He's too. He's like you're one move. He's 2 moves ahead. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out.
And I was just gonna mention, because remember how Tiff was trying to get into the business at one point too, and she didn't realize that Q was actually, you know, the person that was head of you know, he was basically Rob's plug. And so she kind of had gotten involved there, but I wonder if she still wants to be in the business and take on a bigger role, because then she too would also be dealing with Otis, which is bad news.
I think she got scared when they shook her down the way they did. When Nuck shook her down, I think that scared her. So she just needs to stay in her lane. But one of the things I was going to say about Otis, I was just like, you know, it seems like he's really in love with Tracy. Yeah. And I was like, wow, he could have chosen peace and happiness and love and everything, but he chose the dark side. And it just made me think about how we met his mother in the previous season, season 3 and season 4, and all the awful things that she said about him to Roz, and he overheard her, and then also the stuff she said to the media. And I was like, so maybe in his mind, he's like, this is all I'm going to ever be. Because, you know, those relationships with parents, they can mold you.
Oh, yeah.
And he might not think that he deserves anything better than the darkness.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff stays in your mind. You know, your parents say very negative, hurtful things about you. And, you know, nobody, no matter how much love you receive on the outside, if that, particularly with your moms, you know, and boys, you know, a man and his mother, totally that's a powerful connect, you know, and you can make them or break them with the words that come out your mouth.
The stuff she was saying, I was wincing. When she was talking, the way she was talking about it, I was wincing. And then when he walked in and he was just like, you know, hello to you too, Mom, whatever. I was like, that had to hurt.
Well, I'm wondering if that line of reasoning is enough to explain Kev's behavior, because, you know, Nina has said some stuff that has, you know, offended him, and Kev is like going off on the deep end. We kind of questioned last week, you know, why something so seemingly small as, you know, just having money from gaming, he could have found a way to explain it better. But now he's taking it to level 100, trying to emancipate himself and move out. It seemed like he just jumped from 0 to 100 on the scale of actions.
He's tripping, and he's letting that money talk for him, and that's going to be a real big disadvantage for him. Because really, I mean, he's not in the worst situation at home. He's got people that love him, and mom said, you pay a little more, you pay some rent, and you'll get more freedom. Why don't you try that first, instead of thinking that you can emancipate your parents and move out. You're 17 years old, you got one more year to go at 18, and you can do what you want to. So why not just sit and wait and chill?
Well, that's this generation. That's this younger generation. This what they call it? What's the generation?
The Gen Z.
The Gen Z. Because let us tell our mothers back in the day that we want to.
Oh man, please.
Picking our face up.
You wouldn't get the word emancipate out your mouth. By the time you said "eman," you would be on the floor looking
on the ground.
Teeth.
So, they might have emancipated you, though.
Yeah,
right. Yep. Right.
You want emancipation, do you?
Right. I'm about to escalate you out the door.
Right. So I think that you know what? I think the best medicine for them to be like, okay, you can go, because he only got $6,000.
So that ain't gonna get him nowhere.
He'll be right back. He'll be right back. He ain't going nowhere for too long.
Let me put a stopwatch to this. Okay, we'll be right back.
I told him, go ahead.
Now listen now.
And he would have been right back.
But these gamers are millionaires now.
No, they are.
So he probably
Pootie Pie.
He's one of the top gamers. Absolutely. Yeah. So he probably thinking like, I can have my own life. I don't have to live by their rules. I can create my own rules. So it might be a gift and a curse.
Look, it always sounds good in your head.
Of course, it always sounds good.
He ain't used to paying. He buying clothes and stuff like that, but he ain't used to paying for a roof over his head and everything else that comes with it. And school and everything.
Then I think it was mentioned, I guess like after, they take, I guess, the taxes and stuff out of that, the earnings from your video game, you barely got anything left.
Right. We got to go back though. We got to go back. Remember, Kevin was smart enough to be in a gifted school.
Yes.
So he's a little bit more wiser than we're giving him credit for, right?
Oh no, I think he's smart.
Yeah, right.
I think Kevin is very bright, and I think that he would be fine. But I'm just saying that when you haven't lived on your own, you're not familiar with having to pay the mortgage and the utilities and this, that, all these other things they're costly things. And in Chicago, and in Chicago it's the cost of living probably high there too. So
particularly where you want to live, and then
and I just think that it will be a rude awakening.
Right. Thing, and as a young man, you know what he does. The first thing a young man want to do is go out and get a car, and we're gonna spend a little money on that, and then. Just like you were saying, Tiff, I mean, there's a whole lot to owning up on yourself and living by yourself. There's a lot to that. And $6,000 ain't gonna go very far.
But you know what? I thought that he would have been a little bit more grateful, especially after seeing that, Lene's adoption papers had become official and she accepted, because Lene is not she's in a position where she actually coached Kevin on how to play the games. Absolutely. So if she really wanted to, she could be out here earning that kind of money for herself. Absolutely. But because of the situation she comes from, I think Lene is just grateful to have some stability in her life and have supportive, parent figures. And Kevin is basically trying to throw all that away. And so it's like a stark contrast between him and Lene's situation. And he seems like really ungrateful in that moment, I think, in her eyes.
Right, because she asked him, you're going to leave me? And, he didn't have a real good answer about that. So
he said, I'll always have your back.
Having my back and having you here are two different things. And I think now that Lene has gotten used to being there, she feels loved. And now you talk about jetting, and she was the calm head here, where she said, you're 17, why don't you just wait till you're 18? And I still do believe if you were to, pay some rent or utilities or something, like your mom said, if you were to throw a few dollars around, you'd be surprised how much freedom you might have.
Well, yeah, that's what they said too. You can get a little bit more freedom. You pay some bills, you can get a little bit more freedom. But I think he's just tired of being his privacy. We remember being that age. Our privacy being invaded. We're smelling ourselves.
No,
we're transitioning. I wasn't a bad kid, but I did have a problem with wanting my own privacy.
Right.
But I didn't understand the transition into that. Right. That's the part.
Mentality of it. I mean, my mother told me, any mail that comes in my house, and it's got your name on it, is my mail. Now we know that's illegal now.
Okay.
That's the kind.
I ain't go that far.
Yeah, my mom went there, and she was like, I never get when I started smoking, and I would hide the cigarettes under the bed. And my mother cleaning up one day, found the cigarettes, put them out on the table. What you doing? You smoking? You don't smoke in my house. This is my house. And took the cigarettes, dumped them in the toilet. And I'm like, Mom, that's my money. No, it's my money. You working? Oh, you're not working. So anything you got is mine. So I'm gonna tell you, I didn't even have the mentality of privacy. Because that's just the way we grew up back then. And I mean, my mother was came to
that sounds like what Rock said to Lou. Your money is my money.
Exactly.
Your money is my money.
It's my money.
But the sad part is what's missing in Kevin's life is because now he's transitioning into a man. Right? To calm him back and bring that balance, because we need us as young men. I'm not gonna lie, we need that balance, right?
Yes.
Man to show us like this is the way it's supposed to be. And now he's being raised by women, which is no problem. He's being raised by women. He has a sister. Now he has a new sister. It's not that positive male figure around to guide him to where, so now he's just filling himself out.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Dre does the best that she can do, because like I think she is always like the voice of reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think Kev does need like somebody, maybe, I don't know, because he used to have a really good relationship with Trig.
Brandon was the one.
Brandon for sure. But Brandon, of course, is no longer around. And him and Emmett had a really good bond.
Yeah.
And
but now
when he was going to the Rock Center and he was talking with Victor. So it's like, I think that he just needs to reach out more, because he's been so wrapped up in his flame with
he needs
Simone.
to reach out more. But the older ones need to reach down too.
Yes.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
That's why we started Little Buddies, to reach down.
No.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Women
are
very
were you going to say something, Ron?
Women are very protective over their son.
We love y'all. Yeah. We love y'all.
And so I'm not mad at Ning.
Right.
I know, she's like most mothers. She wants to keep a close eye on him, and she wants him around as long as he can. So I'm not mad at that. I just think, I believe if anybody's going to change, it has to be Kevin. Kevin's going to have to tone it down a bit. That's all. He is.
He needs that guidance too, Ron, to tone it down. Because when you're toning something down, you don't know what volume to turn it down to if you're not guided, though. Right? He needs that male figure around if he doesn't know what to do.
That's true.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Right. But sometimes, when you don't have it, you got to kind of hopefully weigh your X's and O's. Anybody, Simone even, I'm waiting for her to step up and say, fool, you think that little $6,000 is going to carry you?
Yeah, she probably would.
But when you're a teenager, you don't know how far money go or not.
Exactly. So. That's what I was saying. That's why I was like, they should let him go, because he'll be back in 2 minutes.
Right.
He'll be back in 2 minutes once he has to face reality. And I agree with what I said too about having that male figure. I said, because sometimes with boys, when they have like single parents, and they're not single parents, obviously, but with women, boys will try.
Oh, yeah.
They will test the waters and see how far they can go. And that is the importance of having a male figure there.
But Tiff, you can speak very, very poignantly on this very, very subject.
And that's why I'm saying they will try.
What I'm saying, look at what you've done with your son.
Yeah.
Great job.
So my point is, a woman can.
But that's what I said. Try. That don't mean they will succeed.
There you go. Yeah, they're gonna try you, but the question is, how far do you let that go? Because you can squash that real quick, just like you said. Oh, you want to go out? Go on out.
But I was gonna contrast this with Gemma and Marcus, because Gemma wanted to basically take from her college fund to become Maisha's manager and pursue, that dream instead of going to college. And I think her dad handled it really well, because he didn't shoot down her dream, because, college is starting to be viewed a little bit differently. Like, a lot of people are making it without going to college. And so I think that he recognizes that I still want to support, your creativity and your dream and not be a dream killer. And so saying that I'll give you a portion of it and let me see what you do with it in a year's time. I think that was a good route to take.
You know what? That one hit home because I was in a similar situation with my son, you know, because y'all know
he's a rapper.
He's a musician. He's a rapper and stuff. And he was, you know, he is more into the music than education. And of course, I support the dream, but I also wanted him to have the education because I was like, you know, it's a grind and you may make it, you may not. So I wanted him to have something to fall back on. So I struck a deal. I was like, can you finish school for me? Right. And then you can pursue your dream, whatever and stuff. So that's the deal I struck. So it was a win-win for me because he did get the degree and he is pursuing his dream.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it seems like it's starting to be a win for Gemma too, because they got the song on the radio, you know, relatively quickly. And it seems like, you know, Maisha is really honing in her craft so that she can, you know, tailor and suit it to be like up to the level that she needs to be to advance her career. Mm-hmm. So it's looking good.
Gemma not stupid. She hot. Maisha is hot. So
Maisha is hot.
I'm going to invest in her. And we're gonna go up. We're gonna be the best thing out of Chi-Town.
Well, you know what? The same thing that Marcus said to Gemma was the same thing. I remember hearing an interview with Trey Songz years ago, and he said he was in the same predicament. And his mom was like, "Listen, all right, I'm gonna give you a year, and if it don't happen for you in a year, you going to school." And fortunately, he did blow up within that year. So that's the same deal that Marcus pretty much offered Gemma.
Right. Yeah, so
and I agree with it. I agree with it 100%. You know, he gave her a little smoke earlier, you know, with earlier questions, but she hung in there, and that's what you want to see. You know, if this is really your dream, you're not going to let it go just because I've said a few negative things. So she said the right thing. He did the right thing. I'm gonna give you a portion of the money. You give me a year. You know, I'll give you a year to see what you can do with this, and I'm behind you 100% because we all now know. With college, I mean, people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to attend college, and even when they graduate, there's no guarantee that job that they work so hard to learn and study is going to be there when they graduate.
Yep, it's a gamble either way.
It's a gamble either way.
And you know, at least if you're going to spend all that money, you should do it in something that you're actually passionate about. You're more likely to be successful if you have a passion for something.
100%. If you are passionate about something, that's where your gift is. That's what you should follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it was a good move, and she definitely wasn't feeling mopping the floors at Smokey. So
no, that's where the little privilege came in. I was like, because she thought she was just gonna start out on the register, and Papa was like, "Nah, you gonna have to get your hands dirty."
Yeah. So I did enjoy their interaction. Marcus and Gemma always have like the best interactions. Like I like their parental style that they have going.
Yeah.
And you know, we talked a little bit about we're on the subject of parenting, but we talked about the co-parenting thing with Tiff and Emmett and Kiesha and Rob, and they went in for the parent-teacher conference, and EJ has been making great progress since they've been working with him. And it seems like the parents have made great progress in dealing with one another. You know, Kiesha, Tiff, and Emmett, you know, settled the dust between them, made sure things weren't going to be awkward going forward. And then, you know, the ladies and the guys got to do so separately as well. And I was really not surprised that they made up for the sake of EJ. Like I figured that, you know, co-parenting with him in the middle, they would make up for his well-being. But I was a little surprised at how I guess Kiesha just swept it under the rug, you know, the situation with Tiff trying to sleep with Emmett. And, you know, I'm glad she admitted her wrongdoings and owned up to it, and admitted that she was jealous. But I guess, I don't know if their friendship is still going to be the same. I don't know. That remains.
Yeah, I think they decided to, you know, what they had was more important. And I think on Tiff's part, I think when they went in there and how Kiesha was so excited about how she was helping EJ, that's one thing. If you break up and you are co-parenting, you do want to know that that other person really cares about your child, that you can trust that. And since she saw how much Kiesha was, you know, excited about helping her son and stuff, I think that moved Tiff too. Like, oh, okay. Like, you know, and she even thanked her, you know, and said, you know, thank you for, you know, looking out for EJ the way you do. And at least he knows, like, yeah, that is my friend. You know, my ex is with my friend, but at least I know that she cares about EJ, that he will be in good hands.
I agree 100%, Tiff, because, you know, that also takes the pressure off Tiff. You know, she now knows that, you know, she's got her back, and she doesn't have to worry when the baby's over there with, you know, Emmett and Kiesha. She doesn't worry about that. She knows that the baby's gonna be taken care of. So, yeah, that ought to soften anybody's blow. You know, you got to be a hard nut to not, you know, not have that bring you down a notch. Now, I do agree though, Tiara. I'm not 100% sure
about that friendship.
We'll see. I don't know.
I'm not even 100% sure if Tiff is really over Emmett, because the more she sees his growth.
Especially when she see that glow up if he franchise Smokies.
Oh man, that could have been her.
Yeah.
But you know what? I did appreciate the representation, how they pulled up to that parent teacher meeting though, with all 4 of them. And I said, because it does take a village.
Yes.
And I was like, and you know, we don't always see that on TV.
Nope.
So I appreciated seeing that. And also just it was just it was a really good look. It was, and
the fact that they created something, you know, peaceful out of that chaotic situation. Right. Because I mean, some writers, they could have kept that drama going. They could have made it so that it was complete chaos and EJ just, you know, is the collateral damage in that situation. But I like how the writers of the show always make it so that it's showing the positive outcomes of what could be. It's not focusing on the reality of what we see every day. It's always very optimistic. It comes out with like the best case scenario for each situation, I think.
I'm going to piggyback on that, Tara, because that is so great that they show. That's a sign of Black excellence, us heading in the right direction of family, right? Because what we're shown is depicted as broken families, of course, and dysfunctional, out of order. I'm responsible for different households, being a parent, you know, and I'm like, wow, this is so dope, because I understand that this is what really is like, right? But it's not really shown in movies and TV.
Yeah, not in our community. They don't always show that
at all. It's not glorified because it's broken. It's really a broken situation. So there's no positive shown from that. But the writers wrote in positivity that actually does occur, and I'm grateful, thankful.
And the maturity it takes to do it.
Yes, and you know, and it's a real thing too, because when teachers see that show of force from the parents and everything and stuff, it keeps them on their game too. And you see how happy that teacher was. Like, she wasn't not only happy about EJ's progress, she was just like, you know, before Emmett and them were fussing in her classroom and everything, but now all 4 of them there, they all there for EJ, and she was happy as I don't know what, and then also offered Kiesha a gig.
Yep. So I think next season we're gonna see Kiesha doing that job, taking the teacher's aide role.
Right, that'll be dope.
Which I think will be positive for her. So I just love how they wrote that whole situation, because I think we all expect the drama, but they took it in another direction. So I was happy with that. And then of course we also got to see a little bit more positivity out of Darnell and Jada's wedding, which they had some beautiful vows. I really enjoyed that.
I love him.
You know what? I mean, to buy his wife a home and not even, you know, he didn't let her know. I know for most women that could be a little tricky, but
absolutely,
you know, but you know, in that relationship, in that situation, I thought it was perfect.
I was a little shocked at Jada's response, though. I thought she would have been more ecstatic.
Right. Yeah, I think she was. I think she was. I think she had to just slip that in there as a little.
Yeah, like you didn't even ask her.
Yeah,
because she got on board though.
Yeah, she got on board real quick.
In the room, she was like, "We can start with the kitchen."
I'll start with the kitchen, so you already know that she's happy, and and that was a nice looking home too. So
it was a nice home, and it showed his growth too.
Yeah,
big time, big time.
Yeah, so I was
that's
like,
the way you show up. I mean,
That's
he
how
said
you
he
show.
been cheap all of
Show
these
up
years.
and
but-
show out. You show up.
Yeah,
And
I
show
was
out.
happy. I was happy for them. And you know, something about Tracy. You know, when they were talking about when he was saying his vows, Darnell, and he was saying, I'm not an imperfect. I'm coming to you as an imperfect man. The camera flashed over to Tracy's face, and I was like, Tracy gonna go back to Douda. I said, because she gonna hear those words and say, he's not an imperfect man.
Right.
Watch what I say. She gonna be with Douda next season.
Oh, we already know that. She can't leave him alone. That's her kryptonite.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That chocolate, we have that effect on women. I'm sorry. That chocolate, we don't disappear. You know, we don't.
I played the fifth. I ain't saying nothing.
But you know what? Nina tried it earlier too. I was like, she was tripping when they went to yoga.
Yeah.
And when she said something about the jury is out on Emmett, and I was like, no, Nina's cheating, but
I know.
Over
You got
there
some nerve to be talking.
judging Emmett. I was like, and I was glad Dre spoke up. Was like, man, I forgave you.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Nina. I was like, you're the last person that should be saying anything.
Right. Yeah, Nina, she's something else. But I really was happy with this episode and this season finale overall. I think it really gave us a lot to be looking forward to for our next season. And we've kind of thrown out all of our predictions already. Do you guys have anything else you want to add? Or, people, I think we got a lot of people that could probably get the game ball this season. I'm sorry, this episode.
I'll add last. Y'all go first. I have something.
Okay. I think that we're heading back in a direction like with the Douda Emmett thing. It's coming full circle, and I feel like we're going back to the earlier seasons of The Chi, like the one and
Brandon
two with Brandon. Yeah. I think we're gonna be, heading back in that direction.
Who gets the game ball? Oh wow.
I think I could give it to Darnell. He brought Jada the house. That was made.
Yeah, Darnell.
Definitely.
I think
gonna be
the whole
be a memory forever.
With Tiff and Rob and Emmett and Tiffany, that was the game ball.
When they stepped up with EJ, all of them could get the game ball. What about Trig for living in his truth?
Trig for
Vic gets the game ball for.
I'll give Bakari a game ball for saving Jake.
Yeah, but you gotta take it right back. Gotta take it back.
Oh, because what he did to
we gave it to him, and then we had to ask for it back. So no.
For dealing with Otis.
Exactly.
So
we can all agree that Otis is getting the hands.
Otis gets the hands, definitely.
Yeah, he gets the hands.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed this so much. Congratulations to the entire cast for a phenomenal season 5. Looking forward to what you guys got up your sleeve for season 6. We also want to send a special thanks to some of the cast members who have come onto the show, and even the ones who have shown us love on social media. We appreciate it so much, and we are always happy to support you guys because you put out such great work. So it was phenomenal. Enjoyed the season. Continue with the Black excellence and the Black positivity. Love to see it.
Can I ask Darnell where the earpiece go? If
he said he was gonna wear it down the aisle, right?
Yeah, he didn't, and he didn't do it. So,
but she said no, you're not. She vetoed that. So clearly she got the last word.
So next season, right? If we can't get Darnell to come on, can we get the earpiece? Want somebody with the earpiece?
I don't know.
Represent Darnell.
They say happy wife, happy life. Jada might take that away from him.
I love Darnell. That's my OG.
I didn't feel bad for Swade though. I was like, poor Swade. I was happy for Jada and Darnell, but I was like, Swade seemed like a good dude.
Well, Swade probably done moved on to one of his other
exactly. He got a little.
That's true. He young. He be all right.
He probably met somebody from P Valley. He probably went up in the strip club. He probably went to the strip club and found him something special. He good. Darnell is my guy. I love Darnell. I'm happy he got somebody that he's supposed to be with.
I keep hearing in my head the love I lost. So I'm.
But he you know, you come on, you remember Ron being young like that. He bounced right. He went to Onyx. He got some lemon pepper wings. Like, oh, you don't
it is hard. I don't care how old you are. It is hard to bounce back from a straight up love. There are some women that will put a memory on you that will last forever. You may get married.
That's true.
You may have children, but you will always remember that one.
That's true.
And
that's true.
She's that one for him.
Don't
ask me how I know.
Right. Well, you know. I
gotta say, look,
she was a mother figure, I think. But I think he gonna get somebody his age. Because Emmett wasn't gonna go for that. Seeing that boy laying up in the bed with his mom.
I mean, he might want to have children. So he probably will find somebody his age and he might want to have his own family.
So he went into the clubs. I'm telling you, he at the clubs right now dancing. Find a little young girl to, he good. He good.
Well, I'm sure he is doing just fine wherever he is.
Good
guy. I got to interview Hassan alone by himself. I got some questions for you.
Well, we can do that off camera.
Right.
So, to all the viewers out there, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Please drop down in the comment section and give us your thoughts on this episode and also your thoughts for next season's predictions. Also, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Click the notification bell so you get alerted every time we post. And follow us on social media. We are on all major platforms at The Spot Real Talk. You guys got anything else to add before we head out? Nothing else? All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Black man. Yeah. Black man, yeah, what's up? Black, hey black man, yeah, what up? Black man, yeah. I'm proud of you, brother man. Even when you fail, you find another plan. They cut it off and you say you got another hand. They cut it off and you say you got another leg. Man, running a quick sprint. They tell you that you can't do it, you say get bent. You about to pitch a tent. You about